FE2 2 is a game with more than 50 maps in it. These maps can range from simple maps like Axiom all the way to something absurd like active volcanic mines. Some people love these maps, or some people hate them. But which map is the most loved? Well, I got 7 different YouTubers and interviewed them on their favorite FE2 2 map. I also did polls asking the FE2 2 community on their favorite maps. And without further ado, let's begin. But first, let's begin at the lowest difficulty, which is easy. I asked everyone for their favorite easy maps and why.
Zimblanity. Zimblanity is my favorite easy map. I love the OST. When I play the map it just relieves me a lot and gets rid of my stress, if I even have any.
My favorite easy map has to be Axiom, not only because of the gameplay, but the amount of nostalgia I get from the map.
I'd say my favorite easy map is Zimblanity. It's got some great gameplay, awesome decorations, and the OST just sounds wonderful. It's the one Lux OST that does not sound similar to any of his other OSTs in any kind of way.
Now picking the best easy is kind of hard because I do actually enjoy most of the easy maps, but in my opinion, I'm gonna have to go with Zimblanity because Zimblanity has a really great OST that you could listen for like hours and never get bored of it. The gameplay is pretty simple for an easy map, so new players can definitely get it down pretty easily. And the design is probably the best thing about the whole map. I actually said it was the most beautiful map in one of my older videos. Please don't watch that. So that's everything I had to say about Zimblanity. It's a great map.
My favorite easy map would have to go to Zimblanity. Zimblanity just looks really nice, and I think it just has a really good atmosphere to it. Alongside with the decoration itself, it is a perfect easy map.
This one is hard. I'm between Forsaken Era and Zimblanity because they both got really good themes, but I probably like Forsaken Era more because it's not as much of a running simulator like Zimblanity is. I enjoy the OST, and the gameplay is straightforward and easy to read as it should be.
My favorite easy map is Forsaken Era. The music is a very nice theme, it fits really well with the map. There's lots of extra added effects like the leaves falling in the final room that make it insanely unique and fun, and the jumps are very clean and likable, not very awkward. It also isn't too easy and isn't too much like a normal map. The acid goes up at a slow relaxing pace, so it's helpful for new players. Also, if you mess up on a jump it's not punishable whatsoever and you can easily get back up from a ladder, and the shortcuts are awesome as well.
Now let's get on with the results. So this means that the most loved easy map is Zimblanity by That Doge though. Now we move on to the normal difficulty section.
For normal, my favorite is probably Sky Sanctuary, very nostalgic map and awesome OST. Basically fall equals death though, depends.
Infiltration has always been my favorite normal map, because it's very unique and also very nostalgic.
This one is definitely a no-brainer. It's Construction Thrill. It's probably, if not definitely, the most unique normal map. And also, the gameplay is just pretty fun to play. I also love how the soundtrack syncs up with it. Like when you enter the final room with the lava, it gets more intense. I think that's a pretty nice touch. And also, this and Northern Mill are probably the only normal maps that would still be up to today's FE2 standards.
For the best normal map, I gotta go with Construction Thrill. This map is so well done, and it actually used to be my favorite map when it first released. However, it's not my favorite map anymore. Its gameplay is still great to this day, the design still holds up, and the OST is so good. I could listen to it all day, and I would never get bored of it.
My favorite normal map obviously has to go to Construction Thrill. The atmosphere on it is almost perfect, and it's so immersive. I also think that some of the functions were really nice for what was FE2 2 back then. This is a perfect example of what a normal map should be.
For normal, I have grown to love Construction Thrill because of how much fun it is playing through it. The obstacles are perfect for the difficulty, and I think new players would also find this map particularly fun because of the map's premise.
My favorite normal is Construction Thrill. Its theme is incredibly unique and we have never really had any construction map in Flood Escape 2. The way the gameplay is also quite varied, which I like, and the last room feels fun for a normal map but isn't too punishing as the lava takes a while to rise, therefore suiting the difficulty well. I know it's not an insanely epic map, but it's just very likable by me and many others.
So let's bring up the results. So this means that Construction Thrill is the most loved normal map. Now we move on to the hard map section.
Favorite hard is Sunken Citadel. Awesome gameplay and visuals. Literally just an appealing map to look at. Not to mention the OST literally got a revamp and it's fire.
Sunken Citadel is my favorite hard map because the gameplay is very fun and also the detail of the map is very charming.
My favorite hard map has to be Sunken Citadel, but I would love to get an honorable mention to Sedimentary Temple because for a while that map was my favorite hard map, but then recently I started to really like Sunken Citadel because it's like theme and it's, I don't know, it's just, the OST is really good, but there's not really much I could describe to it other than it just being more unique, that's all.
The best hard map in the game is easily Sunken Citadel. This is possibly, and probably is, the most underrated map in the whole game. It looks absolutely fantastic to this day, and it's really fun to go through. The OST is also very calm and relaxing, and unlike Crystal Caverns, it manages to be calm, but still very nice and enjoyable to listen. It makes you feel like you're going on an adventure, and that's why I like it a lot.
My favorite hard map would have to go to Sunken Citadel. I enjoy this map because 1, it's a balance of difficulty, 2, great detailing, and 3, the atmosphere is set really well. I think this map is awesome, and I think it's a good example of what hard maps should be.
Sedimentary Temple. A lot of it has to do with the fire OST lol. I still don't believe that such an intense track went to a hard difficulty map, and it fits perfectly. The gameplay is very fun and overall I just feel very cool playing this map.
My favorite hard is Sedimentary Temple. The jumps are really fun to play, the OST fits really well with all the gameplay and it very much suits a nice Flood Escape 2 playstyle. Again, the lava builds up nicely with the music and makes for a really fun hard map. There's also variations of 3 different lava types, which is so cool. It makes the gameplay vary and is very fun to play. The shortcuts on it are also very sweet, but not insanely game breaking. Most of them are to get buttons earlier anyway, so it allows lots of new players to enjoy the map as well.
Results! And this means Sunken Citadel is the most loved hard map. Now we move on to the insane difficulty.
My favorite insane is Dark Side Facility. Literally used to be the hardest map in the game. Remember those times? Anyways, I literally liked it when I first got into the game, and now looking back at it, still has its glory.
Dark Sea Facility has to be my favorite insane map. Its difficulty is very enjoyable. It's not too hard for its difficulty rating and it really gives a sea-fee feeling.
Satomi Springs for sure. This is definitely one of the best maps I've played. The gameplay, the theme, the OST, for God's sake, everything about it is just phenomenal.
The best insane is without a doubt Satomi Springs. This is an S+++ map. Everything about this map is absolutely perfect. It looks fantastic, the gameplay is stellar and really fun, and the OST is so incredible. It's a song that could be listened to for days on end and I'd still be enjoying it. An incredible map all the way around.
Okay, this one's a bit hard, but my favorite insane map would have to go to Satomi Springs. Satomi Springs is super good, and I think it just is really, really nice. I think that the difficulty and pacing matches up really, really good with what it's supposed to be, and I also think that the atmosphere is amazing.
As a Flood Escape 2 veteran that's been playing since 2017, my favorite insane has to be Sinking Ship. As the first tower-type map in the game, it is executed very well and its gameplay is just amazing all around.
My favorite insane map is Beneath the Ruins. I love that map so much. The lava going down is unique, and the first time I've ever seen that when I saw it all those years ago. All the platforms literally flow so well with the OST. And it's just like a really fun map in general. The first section and last are quite open, and the middle two are quite cramped, meaning again gameplay is varied and incredibly enjoyable to play normally. Shortcutting is really fun when you go the normal way, also with lots of long jumps, carrying people and pressing buttons. Lots of fun speedruns, and also fun for the average player as well. There's also again acid at the start, which varies the gameplay, and a tunnel part later on, which is actually so cool. And to top it off, the fade out of the OST at the end actually feels like you have accomplished beating the map, and it's just so cool to listen to. Definitely one of the best maps in Flood Escape 2 personally.
Now let's get on with the results. This means that Satomi Springs is the most loved insane map. Now we move on to the crazy difficulty.
Alright, for my favorite crazy, it's honestly Decaying Silo, and no, I'm not full on f***ing hardcore for it. Just awesome and maxi skips. A friend I talk to sometimes in Crazy Blocks games literally made it despite all the drama. The map is awesome. Gameplay is kinda mid, but oh well, what other choices do I have?
My favorite crazy map. Overall, my favorite map in the game is Active Volcanic Mines. The gameplay is very enjoyable. The map's detail is very good. The OST is one of the best tracks of Flood Escape 2 I have heard.
I think we can all agree that Sandswept Ruins is probably the most unique crazy in the entire roster. Well, except for AVM, but yeah. When I first played Flood Escape 2, I declared this as my favorite crazy, and it still is to this day. My point is that despite it being a 2022 highlight, it would definitely still be highlight worthy for today's FE2 standards.
Now the best crazy map is very hard to choose, but after looking over all the crazies in the game, Blue Moon really does stand out. It is the first crazy added, and it is an absolute icon to this game. We would not be where we are now if Blue Moon was not a thing. And everything still holds up pretty well. It's an absolutely incredible map that still stands for the test of time.
I think my favorite crazy map would have to go to Sandswept Ruins. This is one of the few maps to use an air bubble in its gameplay. And it's also a really, really well-paced level. I also think that the decoration is on point and that the atmosphere matches it. It gives this sort of panic at the end, and with the sand rising at the last part, it just feels awesome.
I've spent so much of my Flood Escape 2 playtime playing crazy maps, which is why this is very difficult for me because I love pretty much all of these maps. Picking out just one is a very hard task, but I would pick Blue Moon, not because of pure nostalgia, there's a bit of that, but also how well the map holds up to this day. The map was released in 2019, but I don't see any decrease of build quality to the newer crazy maps to date. The gameplay is fun as it challenges you in every aspect of Flood Escape 2 platforming. It's also a challenging map without forcing a tower on you like every other crazy map does nowadays.
And my favorite crazy map is Decaying Silo. Yes, Decaying Silo girl sucks and is weird, so that's annoying, but shouldn't be related to your opinion on the actual map. But the actual reason I love it so much is more to do with there's lots of agility which some other maps lack sometimes, and also the OST is banging, it's actually such good bass drops and the platforming is really fun. Yes, the detail can be sort of boring for some people, but it can grow on many others, and genuinely the multiple towers along with agility, wraparounds, slide beams and ziplines makes for a really fun and engaging map to play. Which is why Active Volcanic Mines sucks PC, it's boring linear and then one tower that just spamming the jump button. And then just a bunch of walking.
So let's bring up the results. This means that the most loved crazy is Sandswept Ruins. So that was all the difficulties down. But what is the most loved map overall? Well, compiling all the results, the most loved Flood Escape 2 map is Sunken Citadel. Awesome map. Yeah, that's all. I'll see you later.